Welcome to Great Talk and Entertainment. I am your host, KJ, and this is the podcast where I review movies and TV shows from all your favorite superheroes, including Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and much more. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment official channel. Now, let's go, baby! Welcome back, everybody, as I continue on for the new Disney Plus series by Marvel's animation, Men97. This is episode 3 spoiler review. If you have not seen any of these shows, any of the episodes, I should say, go on there, watch this, but pause this for me, give me a thumbs up, share this with your friends and family, or just people who are interested in podcasting about superheroes, and letting me know about Great Talk and Entertainment official channel only on YouTube. But as I continue on, go ahead, watch those episodes, come back and listen to this spoiler review of episode 3 of Men97. So again, this is a spoiler. You all been warned. Let's go. Episode 3 continues on from where they left off. Another Jean Grey appears at the front door. We find out that the Jean Grey is a clone made by Mr. Sinister to have Cyclops impregnate her so he can steal their baby, aka Nathan. And it's very confusing. Very confusing. Cyclops doesn't know what to do. The team feels like, we gotta figure this out, eliminate one, stop this madness. But we learn that she changes her name at the end of this episode to Madeline Pryor. Or AKA the Goblin Queen. In this episode, the team debates over the results that Beast has come up with. And obviously, the results are the clone is Jean Grey that we've seen since episode 1. But now, episode 3 reveals that the actual Jean Grey is the one who showed up at the door. So, again, this gets to me, this gets a little confusing. And from an audience view, this kind of messes us up because you think they're going one way and they went to a whole complete different direction. But I understand this is this is kind of like non-canon to the MCU as of now. So I get it. Marvel Animation gets to go their own direction, and that wasn't a complaint, but a complaint. I wasn't hating on it. I was in shock that they went this route. But as I continue on, Cyclops is in disbelief. Madeline at this point is worried about her son Nathan. Unfortunately, Mr. Sinister can control her, and he can activate her and turn evil, which he did. And you know what? I got a lot of Wanda Maximoff vibe, like Wanda. That's the type of vibe I got from her. Like Wanda from, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness type evil. Like, she even kind of somewhat dressed like her. And, people are like, they de-sexified her outfit. Well, guys, it's on Disney Plus. You knew they were going to do something like that. You can't help it. And it's all good. Who cares about the outfit? Like, it still represents the outfit if you're watching the comic book of it. Or reading the comic book, I should say. I honestly would love to see those two fight. Like, because Madeline turns the whole mansion to like a horror nightmare theme where each team like faces their biggest fear, from losing someone, failing, disappointing, or some of the younger mutants would want or in fear of feeling rejected for being a mutant from their own parents. And you see a lot of that. But you know what? Beast, I don't know what Beast was fearing. It was like a giant face, and it just was like a blood. Like it was, but he wasn't scared of it, or maybe he was. But I thought, is that what Beast fears? Is something like that? I don't know. But that was just funny to me. I just want to point that out. Madeline takes Nathan to Mr. Sinister so he can like use that baby. And at first I thought he was gonna dissolve the baby Nathan and take his power, because Morph explains in this episode that he can he can manipulate you, and he's been around for years, like since I think he said like medieval time era, I believe. But basically he would literally like take their powers, like, murder them, and take their stuff like body parts, or I forget how they explain it, but then I believe that he was gonna turn Nathan, because he's like, no, I'm the daddy, like, and so I assuming that he was, but when they took Nathan out of that tank, which was just like a green liquid, the idea was, uh, since he wasn't in there long enough, the stuff's gonna mess him up, and they needed a cure, right? But that's what I got out of that. So I believe either he was gonna raise Nathan as his own, or he was gonna just put this baby in this and find a way to take all its mutant power, and so he can have it, so he can continue on living for longer, because he's been alive for such a long time. And Morpheus kind of like touched on it. So when Madeline like obviously takes Nathan to the Mr. Sinister's place, we see this like battle between more Magneto and Madeline, because she like embraces the Phoenix, the Dark Phoenix, and this proves it. I always figured that there was going to be somebody powerful than Magneto, and it's Jean Grey. Like, she's one of those X-Men characters that's just very OP, like Storm. Like, but I think Jean Grey can get Storm anytime, because in this battle, they send out Magneto, Cyclops, Morph, and Bischoff. And before I continue on what happens, the first battle at the X-Men mansion, I like how Cyclops and Bischoff did a double team where Cyclops powered up Bischoff, and they did this unique blast, where he did, I should say, and they both said, "You're welcome." I thought that was pretty cool. And you know what I'm liking about this? Uh, they're using the characters' ability in ways that they didn't really use in the X-Men animated series in the 90s, or any in the live action. Just obviously use the basic one where like Cyclops blast is, but we never see something like that. And so maybe this is the first step to see more of this in a live action X-Men film in the future of the MCU. So that definitely gives me hope. But then when we get to this battle scene where they're battling where Mr. Sinister is at, I just thought Madeline was really good at this. I mean, she's OP. Even the clone version of Jean Grey is somewhat OP than Magneto. And Magneto is OP for real. Like, not everybody can knock that guy down. Even Charles Xavier knows that. That's why, like, they're best friends, but they really don't want that smoke, because sometimes Magneto can get him, but sometimes Charles Xavier can get Magneto. It all depends on what the scenario may be, but without Charles Xavier, eliminate him, Magneto's OP. Like, he he can go. Like, he's somebody who's very difficult to defeat. Now, after this, they finally save Nathan. And at the end, we get this scene where Madeline, Jean Grey, the actual one, and Cyclops go through this thing where they have to decide what's going to be next. And when Jean, the actual Jean Grey, she was back at the mansion, and Logan woke her up, right, and made her snap out of it. He even allowed her to read his mind, to understand where she's at, to realize that, okay, you're back home, you're safe, come back to reality. And then she went and used her ability, and they did a whole memory lane of Jean Grey's like past, like childhood, and how she met Professor Charles Xavier. And you know what, that was really cool. And they get to that point, right? But then at the end of this episode, Bischoff has to take Nathan to the future, because right now the technology that Mr. Sinister uses is so far advanced. And here's a theory to start it off before we get to the discussions that I have. I have it. Because I'm so excited to share this theory. But my theory is Mr. Sinister that we've seen is from the future. I have a theory that he messed up where the X-Men like defeated him or is dominating him or winning in whatever way. I believe he actually went back in time, because I think the Nathan in the future is a full-grown adult, and he's just someone who's hard to defeat. He's probably like, just the fact that his mom is Jean Grey, or even Madeline at this point, and his dad's Cyclops. So he either was born with both their mutant power ability, and he's just very difficult to defeat, that Mr. Sinister literally went back in time when Nathan is an infant, a baby, and tried to either kill him or raise him as his own. That's what I think. And I just want to put that out there, because that could be a possibility. But whatever it is, but then on that story, it was kind of awkward. Like, how does Cyclops move on? Like, and do they stay in a relationship? I'm really curious. But X-Men has always been like a soap opera drama cartoon for kids. But there's a little part of me that hopes that maybe they don't be in a relationship. That's just what I kind of hope. But when before this episode actually ends, we see Storm, who lost all her mutant powers, at this bar, and a character from the past of the X-Men shows up, and his name is Forge, which I believe that's who Bischoff went to see in the future. He's gonna go help Storm get her powers back, and he's an old friend of Charles Xavier and the other X-Men. So I think it's going to be very interesting. You know what I hope? This is me, just another thing that I hope. I hope that he takes Storm to Wakanda. I think that would be cool. I think that would just be so awesome. I hope that happens. I just need that to happen somewhere, whether it's in the MCU or the Marvel animation universe. Like, I just need to see that. People are like, well, it happened in the old X-Men cartoon. I know, but I want to see more of it again. It's been a long time. But that's just me. Now, let's talk about the first topic. Jean Grey, the original, not the clone. Now, I think there's going to be a love triangle story again between Cyclops and Wolverine. Like, they've been teasing it, hinting it since 2 episodes. Well, now 3, I should say, because as I'm recording tomorrow's episode 4. But I feel like, and this is just me, I always wanted to see Jean and Wolverine be the main couple. And it's always been Jean and Cyclops. So I'm not hating, but I'm kind of hating at the same time. But I really want to see that one happen. But I know that they just Marvel won't pull the trigger on that. But I do believe that for a time, I think it could happen, but I don't think it's going to be the final chapter. I think Jean and Cyclops will find a way to keep the relationship, still be married. Yeah, I think they're married, but it just be together forever. That's what I think. But I think we'll get some episodes where Jean and Wolverine kind of flirt the idea of being together. But that's all I got for them. Let's talk about Mr. Sinister. Now, earlier I mentioned my theory that I believe that Mr. Sinister is from the future, and I think the adult version of Nathan was so powerful than him that he was willing to go back in time and, you know, get Nathan when he's a baby, whether raise him or murder him. I don't know. But I think that what's going to happen is, I think that because he escaped. He's not dead, everybody. He escaped. But I think that he's going to be involved in a lot of things. But I'm so glad that they brought him back, and I'm glad they're showing him now. And my reason why is this is a character I wouldn't want to just kill off right away. Like, I that's my pet peeve about Marvel. They always get rid of the villains, the bad guys that are worth keeping alive a little bit longer. And Mr. Sinister is just a perfect example. He's like, I mean, not like Thanos, but more like Killmonger. You know, just these are villain. This is a villain that you want to keep watching do what he does, and that's cause chaos, be destruction. I want to see him keep going, and I want to see him in the next season of Marvel's What If. Like, there are so many Marvel characters I would love to see him team up with, battle against. I just want to see this guy get his shine, get his flowers, whatever you want to call it. Like, this character deserves a much longer run within the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the Marvel Animation Universe. That's what I mean, this guy is an OP character, and I'm a big fan of this. Is one of my favorite Marvel villains as a whole. Like, obviously there's others, but he's in my top 5 favorite Marvel villains. Like, I'd put him above like Hobgoblin, Green Goblin. Like, this guy is just he's the real deal in this stuff. And like, there's so much comic book materials that they can get inspired from and do certain stories from the comic books that I think will be truly worth it. And I think the audience will be mind blown. Like, I just don't want I don't want Marvel to kill him off super early. And they always do that. So I'm hoping they don't do this again. So please, Marvel, let Mr. Sinister stay a while, just a little bit longer. Now let's talk about Madeline. I have a theory that she is going to meet Wanda in Marvel's What If Season 3. I think this one would be a showdown. Either they're battling each other or they're teaming up. The Queen Goblin, or the Queen of Goblin, or the Goblin Queen, I should say, and Wanda Maximoff. Boy, that'd be crazy. And maybe she can be the one that can discover that her daddy is Magneto. I mean, it's perfect. This is because, one, those two now have something very in common. Their love for their kids and what they're willing to do to have their kids. And two, they want to live a new life because they both lost somebody that they cared about and their whole reality has been messed up. Yes, Mr. Sinister screwed everything up between her and Cyclops because it's just unnatural. It didn't feel right. And she feels like her reality, her life wasn't even real. Wanda feels that same way, the way she watched Vision get murked twice. So these two have to meet in some way against each other or teaming up with each other. That's all I'm saying. But in my theory, I'm saying they do an episode where Madeline and Wanda meet for the first time. Season 3. Let's go. That's how I feel about that. Now, how I feel about this whole episode, I liked it. But I liked it so much, but it wasn't my favorite. I think episode 1 and 2 are better than this. And I have nothing bad against about episode 3. I'm just saying I rewatch all 3 and I still like episode 1 and 2 better than episode 3. I think they left us on a cliffhanger, but the direction they took us was, for me, kind of confusing. Just based off how episode 1 and 2 played out. But I'm sure episode 4 is gonna make it all sense for me. And whoever felt confused as well. So if I had to give this a 1 out of 10, I'm gonna give it an 8. Great episode. It just wasn't my favorite. But I still like it. I think this is going to be a great X-Men 97 is already showing potential of being a great animated series or animation series for 2024 of this year. So I'm all about it. But that's my review, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment Official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you, guys, and peace out.